Hello, 朋友们，大家好. Hi, my dear friends. I actually haven't decided which language I want to use for this video. I honestly think that actually the best combination would be Chinese and English, but then I don't know if my audience would be able to understand me. I guess Chinese people will, but in case somebody English speaking watching, well, sorry. You see, we are a little bit chaotic actually on this channel. In my last video, I did see some comments and people said that when I was speaking Chinese, I seemed like a different type of person. And I do want to share with you one very interesting thing. 也就是说，你会多个语言，你就有多个个性。That you can basically be a different type of personality depending on the language you speak. And you know what? I actually noticed that when I speak Ukrainian and when I speak English and Chinese, first of all, even my voice changes. I don't know what it is. Well, I do know what it is. I think based on the system of pronunciation, you actually can even switch your voice. My voice in Ukrainian is actually much higher than maybe when I'm speaking, Chinese or English. By the way, the sun decided to hide and now everything is gloomy and boring, just like Canada is. Sorry, I didn't say that Canada is the most beautiful country in the world. I do think this is a very interesting thing, and please tell me, have you ever encountered this kind of stuff? Like you basically have a couple of personalities and depending on the language you are speaking, that personality comes out. Of course, let's be honest, it's also about mood and different types of things. And actually what I wanted to talk about in this video is about real life communication and interactions. Well, actually what I wanted to talk about in this video is just like in all the other videos. I wanted to talk about millions of things because my brain is working in a way that there are hundreds of thoughts at the same time. And it's sometimes very difficult to figure out what I want to talk about first. 我的天，看起来我没有穿衣服，我有衣服，你看看，有了。So, can you think about the friendships you have with people, and those friendships are mostly based on online communication? I think all of us have this kind of thing. And this is kind of sad. I also think this is something that represents the modern society, but actually this is not very healthy. And you know what? I noticed that even my best friends, our communication is mostly based online. It's like messaging and very minimum meeting. And partially it is because of the adult life, 9 to 5, 9 to 6 jobs, different chores, household ones, hobbies and all that stuff, especially if you don't live that close to each other, the distance between you becomes like really pretty big. But let's be honest, recently I watched one short documentary on this topic, and you know what? It's not only due to the modern life, it's also our personal choice. It's our choice. And due to the pandemic, social media, and all these devices, all the internet we have, we actually even tend to choose to be lonely. We love that. We enjoy that. Well, excluding some extremely extroverted people, of course. But we have to admit that that amount of internet, that amount of social media, it's sometimes draining us, and after scrolling for hours on your phone, you actually received already enough dopamine and you get tired, and you even feel like you actually don't really need socializing. You already got the dosage you want to have. You already feel pretty well. Okay, I maybe need to take some rest. But I do think that this is the so-called hacking of the brain, which is actually not very healthy, and it definitely leads to the society where less people getting married, less people have children, less people have families, less people even have close friends, and I don't think it's very good. And let me tell you one thing, some people said that it seems like I had a completely different personality when I was in that previous video, and let me give you a little bit of background on that. It was first of all on the weekend, recorded on the weekend, so of course I was more chill because I didn't have work, but at the same time, the day before, I had an amazing day outside. Firstly, comparing to my most days spent in-house at home 24/7, I did go outside, get some sunlight, and had a walk. And I think walking or working out outside is something that's so good for your mental health, for your well-being, for your body. It's just I don't need anything more than that. But on top of that, I met with my friend, a very recent new friend actually from Ukraine. And you know what? That quality communication, even though we spent so much time outside, we walked, it was hot. So basically, it ended up actually tiring. But that type of communication, talking to the person you like, who actually shares some things you also are into, you can discuss fashion or common topics, cultures, plans, and this type of quality communication, even though you may be tired, you may be feeling sleepy, but at the same time I was feeling happy. It's like, it's fueling you. And that's when I realized that there are things that make you maybe tired, even exhausted sometimes, but at the same time, if you really like them, it's absolutely different type of being tired. It's actually at the same time invigorating. Like the effects it has on me, at least, are unparalleled. Like really, one of the best things to keep you happy and motivated. Please share what do you think about that. What works for you? What, like, when you are feeling maybe not great, but then you go to the gym and it actually helps you feel much better about yourself. You feel like you did something good for the body, you did something that shows that you are actually disciplined. And this was another much more pleasant thing, I would say, just hanging out with a friend, but it's this real time interaction, eye contact. It's seeing what other people feels, how the other person feels, and that's mesmerizing. I think we really miss out on this. It's in our psychology. It's actually very natural for us. We are designed to be social, and somehow the more developed we are, life becomes easier on the one hand. On the other hand, I think we are like going against a lot of things that are very natural for us. I've been thinking about it for a while, and it makes me even scared because we go against those things, then we have issues which we have to think how to fight and how to encounter. It's literally the same as having a sitting glued to the screen job for 8 hours. Human beings are not created for that, but we do have a lot of people, unfortunately, have this reality and they cannot do anything with that, and they have to find new other ways to counteract those negative effects it has on our body, on how we feel, and this is what it is. But I do have to say that digital things also make our lives much easier. I cannot deny this fact. It's definitely very useful. And here I would love to share that China is very digitally developed, like from the youngest generation, from the kids already being very tech savvy, to, I'm sorry, but older generation knowing how to post on Douyin, how to post moments on WeChats, how to pay your bills on WeChat, and all that stuff. Let's be honest. And it's also extremely convenient when you can do everything on your phone. Let's be honest. I would say that it seems to me that North America, well, I cannot talk about US because I haven't lived there to understand how exactly it works, but I did notice that Western countries are actually not that developed in terms of bureaucratical parts of the system. Some things you may wait for a very long time, and some things you still need to do paper-based or go to the institutions themselves, while in China, of course, it's pretty convenient, but I'm Ukrainian and I'm proud of that. And recently I was watching an interview of the former ambassador to Ukraine, Bridget Brink, who actually resigned due to new political, you got it, complicated topic, guys. And even she was really surprised and mentioned how digitally developed Ukraine is. And I do think that many people don't know this fact. But anything related to documents, to passports, right now you can do it literally on your phone on the special apps. So you can register wherever you need, just go into the app, which is very modern, very updated, and yeah, you just do it. It's something that even Western countries lack. Did you know this fact, guys, or it's something new to you? But we all know that the digitalization also makes life faster. Attention span shorter because we tend to have to scroll things as quick as possible. Amount of information we have to learn to sift through it to understand what's good, what's bad, what's fake, what's real. And here some very interesting cultural aspect I wanted to share. I did notice that in China you have to reply very quickly, and also depending on the context. But for example, let's say it's a university and it's interaction with your professors or even supervisor. If your supervisor, I would suggest you have to reply instantly, just as quick as possible. And you know what? It's a matter, I think, in China of a lot of different things. It's like a matter of professionalism, maybe if it comes to work. It's a matter of respect when it comes to, I think, university or the so-called mianzi, especially if somebody asks or mentions you in a group chat and you kind of ignore that person. It's very bad for their mianzi and face, and they will be not very happy about that. But I also noticed, especially if the supervisor or professors are older generation, it's very important for them. It's like they're older generation, but as I said, they are actually very tech savvy, and they do expect you to reply instantly, quickly. You have to do that to show that you are actually interested in this, that you value your relationship, that you are professional, that you can do things quickly. It's like a whole this new thing. You cannot just, well, it's the time when I'm taking a rest or I'm taking a break from the gadgets, detoxing. No, guys, you will ruin a lot of things if you do that. It's just not existent in China. You have to be accessible most of the time. Well, it's also about customer service, as I did notice that in many North American places, customer service still can take days to resolve. Like they will forward your request, or you need to call, or they will not be available 24/7. This is actually something, I think in many ways, Ukraine and China are actually similar, because in Ukraine it's also the same. When it comes to work or other things, you have to be like very quick in replying. But at the same time, especially customer service, it has to be instant. They have to reply all your questions. They have to solve problems real time, only forwarding if it's just really impossible. Otherwise, guys, there will be bad reviews about your customer service, how sucks it and how bad it is and all that stuff. You got it. But what about making this challenge? I know that it's very difficult right now to get rid of phones, and at the same time, it depends on how you use it. It can be a very valuable tool, because right now the currency of this world is information, right? And information is available through the phone, but it's just depending on how you use it, how you use the internet. I do think from now on, I will try, I don't guarantee, but I will try less thoughtless scrolling online in such medias as Instagram or especially TikTok. But if I do spend time on the phone, I will try to use it for maybe reading the news or just keeping up to date with what's happening with my friends in terms of maybe replying to messages. But definitely try limit the activity that literally just kills the time without bringing zero value. And also they say that upon awakening, you should not look at your phone and all these things. But actually, I noticed that upon awakening, if I check my messages and like work emails and something important, then maybe I can put away my phone, and this is what actually makes me feel ready to start the morning and relax, because I would know if there is something urgent that I would probably need to prioritize or not, or if today the morning will be less stressful and more relaxed and I can just take it easier. But scrolling just on social media is definitely a bad start of the morning. I think kills a lot of time, makes you lazy. What I did notice, I don't know, works for me. Tell me if it would work for you. Listening to a very short overview of news, for some reason, awakens my brain and also makes me wanna, go open my computer and actually learn something or do something. I don't know like how it works. For some reason, it really makes a difference, because if I just go on Instagram and look into this amazing lifestyle of other people, I feel like, oh wow, how they have this life, and I will have to open my computer, I will start comparing and having a wave of some negative maybe emotions, and that's a no, guys. See you next time. Maybe next time我接下来会说中文，然后又拍一个中文视频，因为还是需要练习啊，对吗？朋友，尤其是我的中国朋友，有可能你们有一些问题，就是关于可能乌克兰的文化或者加拿大的文化，你们可以直接问问我，然后我会给你们拍一些视频，因为我其实拍的都是没有很多安排，我是要看我的 inspiration 来了我就拍了，所以不要害羞，直接跟我说，因为我们是朋友，对吗？我爱你们，下次见了，拜拜，么。